Hey guys, welcome. We're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac reunion part 3, which is the conclusion. But before we do, guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe so that you won't miss any further videos. But here we are again, talking one last time about season 7 of the Real Housewives of Potomac, the final part of the reunion. So we begin with Jacqueline calling Mia unhinged and pretty much dragging Mia and exposing some of her lies. For example, it wasn't true that Mia was with Jacqueline's mom on Mother's Day. Also, it turns out that Gordon sometimes doesn't even know where Mia is, and that nobody helped her pay for the car, and she even has receipts and claims that Mia wanted that narrative to be out there. She also clarifies that she never slept with either Mia nor G. Mia then says the reason she went so hard on Jacqueline was because when Jacqueline back in Mexico said that Mia needed more D, that she felt that Jacqueline was talking bad about Gordon because Mia revealed that he had prostate cancer, something that we didn't know. But there is really no resolution, and Jacqueline pretty much is dismissed after that, and that's all we got from that. Next up, Charrisse is about to join the ladies, so we see her kind of getting ready, and she then joins the couches, and Robyn is like buttering her up, saying that she loves her and whatnot, obviously trying to get under Karen's skin. And then we turn precisely to Karen and her issue with Charrisse this season. They first ask Karen why she didn't want to go have lunch with Charrisse, and she says that people are just not going to understand. Like, even if she explained it, they won't get it. And Andy says that he would have appreciated it if somebody was trying to make things right. But Andy, you would have understood it, but that's you, that's not Karen, so be quiet, I thought. And then Karen makes it very clear that she will not be discussing any questions whatsoever regarding her mother's memorial, because that was, a topic in this relationship with Charrisse and Karen about if Charrisse went to the funeral, if it was genuine and whatnot. Then Andy says that he clarifies Bravo was the one who invited back Charrisse, and then they ask Karen that if she didn't like Charrisse, and when I say them, I'm referring to Charrisse, Gizelle, and Robyn, that why she invited Charrisse to an event that she had in 2019 if she didn't like Charrisse. And they're defending her, and Karen kind of says that like she wanted to come, and then Andy tells Charrisse that it seems like she almost came out with almost every accusation against Karen this season, and Karen says everything she said was false. So all this about the guy in the bathroom, everything that Charrisse says was false. And Charrisse says that the reason she did that was because Karen was saying things about her that she heard. But Karen says that that is not true, and that in fact she has heard things about Charrisse, but she hasn't said it because she has children, which we now know as of yesterday that Katie Ross has come out and said that she hooked up with Charrisse. So it's a big mess. Then Andy asks Mia who was the guy that she knew that supposedly Karen hooked up with, and Karen says, yes, let us know so I can go and sue him because everything that he said to you is not true. Then when it comes to what Karen said about Robyn and Juan, Karen simply says that she knows people who know Juan and Robyn, and that she has actually protected Robyn for a very long time. Then they switch over to Robyn's storyline this season for not inviting Wendy to family day all the way to the wedding. So they show a little montage, and then after that some of them are congratulating her for the wedding. She says that she's very happy with how everything turned out, but you can see on the look on Karen's face that she knows it was all fake. Then they talk about the infidelity clause. Charrisse gives her 2 cents on it. Then there is a question asking Karen that why does she keep bothering Robyn about the wedding? And she says, okay, you know what? I admit it. You guys can call me out for it because now looking back, I was asking about it too much. Then regarding the blonde woman who looks a lot like Karen, they ask Robyn about Juan's reaction because if you guys remember, he got so mad in that phone call and started cursing everybody out. But she says that he just doesn't like the drama. They talk about that boring family day, and they kind of make fun of Robyn a little bit because of how bad planned out it was, but most importantly, how wrong she was for not inviting Wendy, but wanting her kids to go with Candiace. And Robyn says that there wasn't anything wrong with that, but Wendy says that it was wrong because she was alienating her kids, because by Candiace bringing them, they would have been the only kids there without a mom. So that would have been alienating them, which makes total sense. They do touch on the problem that Juan is going through at the school, and Robyn says that she can't talk about it too much because it is an ongoing lawsuit, but the wrongdoing that Juan is being accused of, she says, is not true, and that they're using his name as clickbait. And that was kind of surprising, because how are they using his name as clickbait if he's in the lawsuit? But that was the end of the segment, and then Charrisse leaves. So there really wasn't anything explosive between Charrisse and Karen, so that was kind of disappointing. This was like, I don't know, maybe like almost 30 minutes in, so it was a little bit boring. But then the husbands come and join. So Chris is asked how he's doing. He says that he's fine. Eddie is giving props from Andy because him and Wendy, they do have an amazing, lovely marriage. They ask Gordon how he is and how it was having his wife go through all her health issues this season. And he says that it was hard and heartbreaking. And he even starts to cry. And I did feel bad because it looked like he was genuinely emotional. Then he is asked if he ever hooked up with Jacqueline, and he says no, that he sees her as a little sister. And with Peter Thomas's ex-girlfriend, he says that there was, quote, never any penetration. But the big issue starts to be talked about, which is Gizelle and Chris. So Chris takes the floor. He explained, yes, I didn't like how Candiace was being questioned last reunion, so I told Gizelle to talk. She suggested to go to her room. If she realized that her glam and her team weren't in the room, why didn't she say, let's go somewhere else? Also, Gizelle has repeatedly said that he needs to apologize for what he did. So he wants Gizelle to explain what did he do, because for the last 10 months, he says that he's had to explain things to his kids, his job, and his family over this. And he gets mad and starts to cuss a little bit. And then Gizelle, sitting on her high horse, says that I'm not going to talk to you if you're cussing at me. So she then starts to explain that she felt very uncomfortable in the moment because the door was closed, and they start to talk about that. And Gizelle says that hearing about Ashley's DM message made her add things and made her think that she should bring it up to Candiace. But then Chris brings up something very interesting. He says that for almost every season, Gizelle has made some innuendo about his private organ, and he's never made a big deal about it. But you know what? I had forgotten about that. So I started to think, is there maybe some feelings that Gizelle has for Chris? But eventually Gizelle does give some sort of apology, but she continues to justify her actions, so it doesn't really count. And then Candiace, oh my, she drags Gizelle through Highway 66 and says that Gizelle is a trash individual with no soul, and says that Giselle's proximity to being white lets her make these accusations, and tells her that people like her, Gizelle, Bryant, are the reason that other women who really go through violations in SA are afraid to come forward. This brings a strong reaction. Mia says that Candiace is taking it too far, and then Aunt Ashley conveniently says, we just had a conversation about colorism, what is wrong with you? And even Wendy jumped in and said that, Candiace, I love you, but that's wrong. But Candiace says no. Her being light skin allows her to do things to a bigger degree than I can do. And what I said right now, was it inflammatory? Yes. Do I regret it? No. So she's not holding it back. You can tell in that moment that Gizelle she was taken aback. Like, it was kind of hard for her to hear that. And Chris eventually says that he does accept Giselle's apology, but Candiace says that she definitely does not. Then they talk about some more rated R topics and conversations that happened this season, like when they were at the club, when Mia, Wendy, Candiace, and Ashley were showing each other's private areas, and they talked about it and they laughed it off. But when we talk about what Karen was being accused of, Ray is not having it. He thought it was out of taste, and he says that he's very disappointed in many of the ladies. And when it comes to that supposed picture of Karen, Ray says that it's BS and that the picture doesn't prove that it was her because it was supposedly her back. So Gizelle jumps in and says, well, when it comes to Juan, you had no picture, no evidence, anything, which based on what we know now is ridiculous. But Karen did in fact have a picture of Juan's girlfriend, but Ray told her not to show it. So then Robyn starts to reach, turn things, deflect, and say that they are talking about SA and the Chris and Gizelle and whatnot. So she's saying that she thinks that Karen implied that Juan did that to her when he hugged her really tightly. That was SA, or an attempt. And Karen says, no, I never implied no such thing, but it did happen. And even Ray validates her by saying that the same day that it happened, Karen told them about it. And then the husbands leave and they wrap the season by playing Candiace's song Insecure with a speaker, which was kind of funny because that's like an inside joke. And they all get up and they dance, which I thought was a pretty cool way to end the season. But then, bam, 2 weeks later, we get the debacle of Juan's cheating. So they show the unseen footage of the Watch What Happens Live interview. In this footage, Robyn says that the girl lied to him about having a boyfriend and that he didn't know. But she affirms that there was no physical relation with them. Again, according to her. So then Andy says, why stay silent all season? And she says that she was waiting for Karen to bring it up. But again, Andy calls her out on her hypocrisy of staying silent and not having said anything while there were other storylines that were very similar. Candiace was very upset when that news broke, and Robyn said that it had nothing to do with her situation, and they bring it up. If they had brought it up, she would have certainly talked about it. And Andy is hammering her, not to enough of a degree, but he is just enough. But, you know, she's having a hard time answering, just going in circles and in circles. And he says that it looks really bad, especially because of what she did to Karen by showing that picture. And again, she doesn't really know what to say. And then Andy asks if she ever gets tired of defending Juan so much. And she says no, because she knows why they're together and what goes on in their relationship. Which, I mean, do they have an open relationship? I mean, just say that. But that, guys, was the wrap of season 7. This season, you guys, has been a roller coaster. So much outrage, so much controversy. I think we need a good break because it's kind of draining, don't you agree? But, you know, I did want to ask you guys this as we leave. I want you guys to tell me, for next season, what changes would you like to be seen in this show? Who do you think should stay? Who do you think should leave? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought about the third part of the reunion. In my opinion, the only good part of this final part was Chris and Candiace reading Gizelle. But other than that, the other two parts were far better in my opinion. But again, let me know. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here all of season 7. And we're going to continue to recap our other shows that are coming up. Escape and SWB are coming up, so we're going to be covering that and all of the other ones which are to come. So I'll catch you guys next time, and y'all have a great one. Bye.